Right on camera. Full time. You better behave. Oh, Jesus. I didn't know it was so close to us.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside the athletic fields here at Milford High School, as Milford TV is happy to bring you coverage of Scarlet Hawks athletics. Once again, this is Milford TV Executive Director Tim Coette on the call as we bring you a rain-soaked edition of Scarlet Hawks girls soccer here this afternoon. The varsity squad out there and immediately into action, and we've got an early opportunity presenting itself here for the girls as they have a corner kick coming in from the far side. Jumping right into action, this ball out now to the edge of the box. And so controlled now by the Hopedale keeper. So again, settling in here, not the best of conditions for the girls, with rain expected really throughout the duration of play here this afternoon into this evening, but these teams moving forward with an early season matchup. Milford looking for their first win of the year. Both of these teams, as a matter of fact, in search of their first victory on the season. Both teams come in 0-1 overall on the season. Milford dropped a tough one on the road last Thursday to the Foxborough Warriors by a final score of 3-0. And so the rain about the steadiest we've seen it throughout the day today, just as this match was about to get underway. And so we expect that these teams will have to battle the conditions throughout this one. Milford sending one in on the ground, but it is handled by the keeper for Hopedale. That is the senior number 1, Callie Costanza, one of the captains of this Blue Raiders squad. Milford looking to attack from right to left across your screens here in first half action. A lot of umbrellas out, the rain gear in tow for the fans here out at the Milford turf. Many folks no doubt still getting their first opportunity to see this brand new surface in action, and something that these players hope will play to their advantage with the better footing on the new surface here at the Milford turf. It will help with these rainy conditions, but meanwhile this ball squirts free up the near sideline. And Hopedale trying to center it up. A sprawling attempt by Chloe Murdoch. This ball still up for grabs, and Milford manages to settle it down in the corner. Josie Fleming, the freshman midfielder for the Blue Raiders, was ready to pounce as that ball came free up the near sideline. Goal kick here looks to be taken on the Milford side by the freshman Amelia Maloney. A lot of new faces on this roster, a lot of young players, but a lot of talent on the roster as well, as I do believe that was actually number 5, Talia Seri, taking that goal kick. Team as a freshman now one of the veterans on this squad. Still a lot of freshmen represented on the roster. Only one senior, the lone senior on this Milford roster this season. And that is Aaron Mickelson. As again, this ball comes back with pace. Caitlin Landry trying to get there from Milford. More defenders in tow. So still in the early stages here, still in the opening 5 minutes, a scoreless game between the Hawks and the Blue Raiders. Milford has won the last 2 head-to-head meetings between these schools. One of them happened last season. Prior to that, the last time these teams had played head-to-head was back in 2019. This ball fed forward, but Hopedale able to intercept. Sari in the middle of the action, now played on to Caitlin Kernan. And now this one loose. Olivia Baglione feeds it to herself, now loses footing. What will we see here as the call? And it looks like we'll get a penalty shot here coming up for the sophomore. That is Ava Baglione, who got herself loose and ended up getting tripped up by the Raiders defense. And now a golden opportunity for Milford to score their first goal of the season. It will be Ava Baglione lined up for the penalty shot. Ready to go, keeps it low, and that one deflected wide. And so Hopedale survives the scare. Again, these slick conditions, not easy for any of these players to navigate. It was tough to tell from our perspective if that ball just squirted wide or if Costanza was able to get a hand on it, but regardless, we play on scoreless here in the opening 10 minutes of this game action. Milford keeping this ball in deep after the goal kick, and a little dump in towards the net is handled by Costanza. She's been up to the challenge so far as Milford has put some pressure on offensively. That was the junior captain, Paige Calden, with that check-in on net. One of 3 captains of this squad, along with Olivia Baglione and Kay Pellegrini. This ball taking a big hop across the center line, and Milford colliding with one another. This allows for a free trip up the sideline for Venetia Oldfield. This ball still loose. Milford able to guide it to the near sideline and out of play. So the Raiders have gotten a couple of free releases here to come in tight on Chloe Murdoch. Now the toss in here for number 10, Mackenzie Reynolds. That's going to be deflected over the goal line and out of play. It looks like Hopedale will have a chance to line up for a goal kick here from the near corner. Annalise Pinto lined up to take the kick, keeps it low, and that deflects hard. Pinto trying to win it. She gets there first. Now Milford closes in, trying to get the clear. Able to keep that ball in play right in front of the Milford bench. And now here's Baglione. She flies in with good speed as the ball eventually ends up out of play. Rain continuing to fall steadily here. The lights on now at the turf field. About 9 minutes in to this first half action. Baglione directing traffic, trying to push this ball ahead to Calden. It's deflected away by the Raiders. Now here's Baglione again over the middle. Little cross-court pass attempt. This is going to come loose. Mickelson trying to track it down. She gets bumped off the ball. Good play defensively by Shayla McPhee. But out of play eventually on the far side. Milford will have the toss in. As Milford will make their first substitution, and onto the field comes the junior captain, Kay Pellegrini. We did not have a chance to see Kay out on the field for this soccer team last season. She did a lot for this program off the field, but she was continuing to work her way back from injury, so that is a presence that can really make a big difference out there on the field. Milford will get another corner kick opportunity here as that ball deflected out. Both of these teams providing themselves with scoring chances early on in this half. This one in at the corner and deflected, but Hopedale able to get there first, and they're able to clear it out. Milford was able to get that in an intriguing spot, but nobody home for the Hawks to be able to redirect that ball in. Milford will toss back into play, still on their attacking side, as Hopedale now looks to advance. Stepping into the action, Alexa Landry. Now a loose ball tracked down again by Talia Seri, and she gets knocked down hard. Milford wanted the foul called. Instead, they just get the toss in. Ball security is no doubt going to be a challenge in this game this evening with these slick conditions. Now this ball on ahead to Mickelson. She'll take the shot. It stays wide to the far side. Hopedale grabbing a piece of that one before it went out, and yet another corner kick here. Plenty of good looks for Milford here now, about 12 minutes into this match. Calden again lining up to take the corner. This ball short. Hopedale deflects it out to the edge of the box. Dumped back in by Milford, trying for the redirect. But Costanza was there to make the stop. And still scoreless. The Scarlet Hawks program once again under the direction of head coach Lou Colabello, assisted by Casey Young. On the Hopedale side, this Blue Raiders girls team under the direction of head coach Jay Roger. This ball is going to come loose, but Milford couldn't get quite enough on it. And there again is the wet conditions out there playing a factor. Seri in the mix trying to settle this ball down. Pops it back onto the attacking side. Milford with numbers closing in. Nice little pass to free up Kayla Nashawati. This ball comes back out towards the midfield. Milford pushes back in. Mickelson on the outside. Has it taken away. A nice block there. Keeps it for Milford momentarily. Kyla Nashawati was a name that we have been told to look out for coming into this season. A very high ceiling for her talent on this varsity squad as a freshman. And of course, Milford has a lot of offensive talent that they are looking to replace on this varsity team with the loss of Danny Atherton, who graduated this past spring, a prolific goal scorer for this program in her 4 years. Scored, I believe, about 2/3 of the total offense that Milford generated a season ago. So Coach Colabello hopeful some of these young players can step up and fill those gaps from Atherton and other key players that graduated last spring. Well, for keeping this ball on the ground, there is Nashawati again with the shot, and it is stopped by Costanza as the rain picks up more and more as this first half goes along. Still 26 minutes on the first half game clock. Milford has kept the pressure on. They have generated the majority of the offensive opportunities so far in this match. This ball loose up the near sideline. Calden has it, and she gets tripped up. That looked to be instigated on the Hopedale side. Again, a lot of trip-ups due to the slick turf out there, but that certainly appeared to be too much contact on the Blue Raider side, and so we'll have a free kick here to be taken by Ava Baglione. Just inside the near sideline. Baglione given the go-ahead. This ball on target, trying for the redirect up close from Paige Calden. And the ball ends up out of play. And approaching torrential rain status at this point. And right now, it looks like we'll have a timeout taken on the field. Right now, the clock paused at 24:27. We'll take a very quick pause on our broadcast as well. Stay tuned to coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics right here on Milford TV. Back out of the timeout. A little over 24 minutes remaining in the first half, still scoreless, but Milford has threatened throughout the opening portion of this half. Hopedale now on the move. Pushed ahead up the middle. Kernan is there. Landry as well. And the whistle going against Hopedale. We had very few whistles in the game that we covered here last Thursday for the boys as they took on Foxborough. They really let the sides play. We've already seen the officials getting into the action here early on as Milford now tries to advance. Pushing that ball ahead was Maya Santos, the junior. Apologize if our game clock on our graphics periodically goes in and out of view as we have a number of umbrellas in use out in the stands. Fans trying to hunker down and protect themselves as much as they can. As we dip under 23 minutes to go in this half, Hopedale will guide that ball out on the far sideline. Milford, a 4-win team a season ago. Fell short of a playoff berth. Hopedale also a 4-win team. So both of these programs perhaps in similar stages of development as Milford sees that ball squirt out in front of the goal mouth. Now a chance from further distance, and that one airmailed over the crossbar. But more pressure applied. That was Olivia Baglione, one of the Milford captains, taking that shot. Hopedale now taking over. Milford pestering defensively. Good work by Kaylee Turtelot. And that ball ends up slipping out of play. You can see the turf field here still a bit of a work in progress. They have not installed the new track here around the new turf, and so puddles continuing to form along the sidelines on the concrete. Kick coming up here for Callie Costanza. It is Costanza along with Antonia Rollo and Delia McAllister, the 3 captains on the Hopedale roster. This ball comes all the way through to the Milford D-line. Hopedale, a couple of players there. Nice move by Alexa Landry. Back across the center line, and now controlled by number 18, Emily Oliver, on the Hopedale side. Trying to reverse course to get around Paige Calden. Milford able to dump it ahead. The header by Ava Baglione is scooped up by Hopedale. And now fed along, but too far out in front. And right at the edge of the box, Murdoch will have to play it in with the foot, and now able to gather. Murdoch looking for a healthy season for the Scarlet Hawks this year. Took a real pounding at that keeper position last year that limited her time out on the field due to injuries. As Milford gets called for the offsides. Past the midway point in this first half, the rain has lightened up just a tick. Aggressive move there by Nashawati. But Hopedale now on the advance. This ball popped up by Kernan. Now a trio of Hopedale players up front. Hopedale now able to regroup. Good elusive move for Annalise Pinto. This will come all the way through to net, but picked up harmlessly by Murdoch. Short kick that will eventually find its way to Turtelot. Squeezed through for Baglione. And now back to, from Ava to Olivia Baglione, and down the far sideline now from Mickelson. Trying to center it up, but Hopedale interferes. And then sent out of play on the deflection. Heads up play by Josie Fleming, the freshman for Hopedale. 5 classes represented on this Hopedale varsity roster. Of course, Hopedale, as we know from many times having a chance to cover Hopedale, the junior, senior high school. So we've got a handful of 8th graders on this varsity roster, as well as freshmen through senior ranks. Freshman Chloe Westfield for Hopedale, dropping that ball out of play on the far sideline. Substitutions here on the Milford side. Giving some of these rain-soaked players a chance to catch a quick breather on the sideline. 17:35 on the game clock as Milford will set up for another corner kick opportunity. Beg your pardon, it'll be a toss-in deep on the attacking side. Into Seri. Seri able to keep her footing as that ball goes out of play, and this time it will be Hopedale ball. So Milford came up short in their season debut against Foxborough on the road. It was a 3-0 final score. Having a chance to talk to Coach Colabello a bit prior to the game, it was a competitive match, in particular in the early stretch of the first half and then throughout much of the second half. But Foxborough late in the first able to find their footing with an early goal and ended up capitalizing, scoring a couple before the half, ultimately won the game 3-0. Foxborough expected to be a real powerhouse program this season. It's not the easiest of opponents for Milford to play right out of the gates. It's Foxborough star player Aaron Foley, who scored all 3 of Foxborough's goals in that victory last week. Hopedale also was shut out in their first game of the season. Down to 15:50 on this first half clock. We play on scoreless. Milford in a dangerous position as Chloe Murdoch was caught out of position. And that ball just barely stayed outside of the net. That went on the outside of the post. It was tough to tell at first glance if that rolled in right at the corner, but it was in fact wide, and Milford gets very lucky there. Murdoch came out aggressively to play that ball, lost her footing, and for Hopedale it was a wide open net, but they couldn't capitalize. Play on scoreless with just over 15 minutes to go. Now it's Costanza who comes out far from the net, sure-handed, able to make the stop. Rain for the moment has slowed to just a light mist. And now dumped back in by Maya Santos. Played along the near sideline and fed cleanly back towards the middle for Baglione. Olivia plays it forward, and now Hopedale tracks it down right at the sideline, but that might have just eked its way out of play. So Milford will toss back in. You can see Talia Seri doing everything she can to dry off that ball. Hard to dry off the soccer ball when your jersey's also soaking wet. Not easy conditions for these players this evening. Here's Ava Baglione now. Good footwork. Feeds this ball deep down into the corner. It's tracked down by Calden. She tries to protect. Goes to the edge of the field to play, but that ball goes out.
Nice.
Now kept alive. Calden towards the middle. And now fed in by Talia Seri. Hard contact towards the far side of the field. Milford stays with it. Back into the play now, Lexi Antonio. And now Kernan from just inside the center line. She goes down hard, but gets right back to her feet. Kernan, a physical player, as we know from the varsity girls basketball team. A lot of athleticism, a lot of power. Now sent back towards the middle. Hopedale with a brief numbers advantage. Kaylin Landry staying close. Good defensive work. She went one-on-one against, I believe, Kaylee Good one of the eighth graders coming up on 12.5 minutes to play in this first half. And now this ball comes in on target, and Murdoch able to play it on a bounce to make the stop. Check in out of nowhere there for Hopedale. Murdoch with good awareness. Hopedale trying to push back in. The Raiders have been on the defensive for a lot of this half. And now winning this ball, Maya Santos. And up ahead into the box, but Baglione could not catch up. Costanza makes an easy stop. Line drive kick, Kernan able to dump it back in the Milford attacking side. Hopedale will now try to advance once again. Now Landry, that one came awkwardly off the side of her foot, but deflects back towards the middle of the field. Nearly settled down by Ava Baglione. Instead now drifts to the middle. Fed ahead on a big bounce. This is going to get past the keeper. Baglione feverishly trying to keep that ball in. As that took a hop past Costanza's reach. So they will line this up as a goal kick. Ferocious speed out of the sophomore Ava Baglione, something we came to understand very quickly watching her as a freshman last season. Had a chance to play alongside Danny Atherton, I'm sure learning a lot about the position, and now stepping in to a critical goal-scoring role for Milford here, still in her underclassmen years. Back out towards the middle as we approach 10 minutes to play in the first half. A fairly quick moving first half. Fed into the corner. Played on by Antonio, but again, this ball will roll out of play. Very quickly, we want to welcome in all of our viewers who are tuned in live to this coverage this evening over on our YouTube page at youtube.com/MyMilfordTV. Sure, perhaps a smattering of both Milford and Hopedale fans on the stream tonight. Happy to have you on board. Of course, as always, our coverage streaming live on YouTube. Airing after the fact on our educational channel and our Verizon HD channel as well, and across all of our online platforms. An entertaining first half thus far. Both teams have had some interesting chances. Neither have capitalized to this point, and now a little less than 9.5 minutes remain until we hit the intermission. Hopedale will feed this ball down the near sideline on sides, and Talia Seri with a good play to catch up. And meanwhile, one player losing a shoe on the Hopedale side, having to try to quickly get that under control as now the ball comes the other way, but this should be playable without issue for Callie Costanza as everyone gets the footwear back in order. Here's Ava Baglione, a little self-pass towards the near sideline, trying to get a step on the defender. That ball pushed out and should go as a corner kick chance on the near side this time for Milford. This time it looks like we will see Talia Seri line up for the corner kick. Seri ready to go.
Good to see ya.
Sends this out towards the top of the box.
11.
A chance perhaps for Milford to send it back in through traffic as Maya Santos was there, but Hopedale now gets a partial clear. Milford now trying to send it back in. Ava Baglione takes a hack at it, and now on to the foot of Emily Oliver for Hopedale, as now we get a whistle. Whistle going against Milford. This ball had speed. Seri now backtracking, and some trouble here as Murdoch again comes all the way out of the box, and Milford able to clear it out. And Hopedale now on the advance again. Another chance for Murdoch right at the edge of the box, and picks it up just before Venetia Oldfield could approach for a potential shot. We are coming down to the final 7 minutes of this half. Alexa Landry now moves this ball just a shade onto the Milford attacking side before Hopedale intervenes. Landry still working hard. The ball eventually goes out of play. Quick toss in now for the Raiders. Milford takes over possession. Seri will drive this ball upfield. Hopedale getting to this ball first, but sending it in the wrong direction. But players there in support on the Hopedale side. Kernan now with a pass on the ground. Now this ball driven off of Santos's foot. Kernan now will send it in deep. And on a bounce, held onto by Callie Costanza, who has looked good in net for Hopedale so far. Three seniors on the Hopedale roster, Costanza being one, along with her fellow captains Rollo and McAllister. Taking their time, lining up for the goal kick with just a little over 5 minutes remaining in first half action. Dropped down by Milford. Santos again. Protects. Gets away from a defender, has a little bit of space. Now finds Turtelot on the near side. She sends it in on the ground, and it's scooped by Costanza. Kernan with a hesitation, looks upfield, trying to weave that one in to Kyla Nashawati. Does not quite get there. Tossing for Hopedale, Nashawati there. Good ball. Almost making its way through to Baglione. Now it's Baglione in a good position. Sends a pass off the side of her foot to a wide open Kaylee Turtelot, who has that ball deflect awkwardly out of play. Baglione saw that developing very quickly. With her back to the net, sent a little flick over towards the near side. Turtelot had space, maybe rushed it just a hair, and of course the slick conditions not helping the situation either. Now Hopedale pressing this ball forward right at the edge of the box, and Murdoch is there. Baglione elevating that pass. Nashawati goes airborne and collides with Chloe Westfield. And the whistle is going to go against Hopedale here. There are plenty of Blue Raider fans in attendance groaning at that call. And so Milford will get the free kick chance, less than 3 minutes until halftime. Right now, Olivia Baglione bringing the ball into position. But it will be Kyla Nashawati, it appears, who will take the kick. Another big moment here in this first half for the Scarlet Hawks, trying to strike first. Nashawati with this ball in the air, on target, off the hands of Costanza, still playable for the Hawks, and then it drifts out wide to the far side. Another corner kick chance here after a terrific free kick was delivered by Nashawati. Milford is going to get whistled here, so that will end one of their best stretches on the attacking side. The game clock now frozen, under 2 minutes to go. Milford right now with all the momentum on their side. Everything except a goal scored in this half, creating chance after chance. Turtelot losing control there, letting that ball go out right in front of Hopedale head coach Jay Roche. Roche, of course, a tremendous coach for both boys and girls athletics here across central Massachusetts over his career. He's coached many teams to deep postseason runs. Milford with another corner kick coming up to the near side. Taken by Paige Calden. Hopedale deflects it right back to Calden, who will dump it in once again. Ava Baglione looking for a bicycle kick in on net, but couldn't make contact. Costanza now takes charge. Maybe about a minute remaining in the half as Landry dumps back in, and less than a minute as it turns out. There is your final whistle here in the first half. So again, a lot of chances for Milford, good aggression on the attacking side, but ultimately this game played to a draw here over the first 40 minutes, so we stay scoreless here. As we hit halftime, we will pause briefly here on the broadcast. So if you're joining us on the live stream, hang tight for just about the next 7 minutes, and then we'll get the second half started here on this coverage of Scarlet Hawks Athletics on Milford TV. Welcome back, everyone, as we begin second half coverage of this girls varsity soccer matchup between Milford and their neighboring non-conference rival Hopedale. Scoreless here as we begin the second half. Milford had the better of the scoring chances in the second half. I beg your pardon, in the first half, but could not connect.
Weird not getting up Saturday morning and going on the soccer field to go coach the girls. How are you guys doing?
So getting settled in here now as we try to get some of the umbrellas cleared of our cameras. We're set up fully inside the press box here for the safety of our crew and also our equipment here. So we've got a lower perspective just behind the fans here, so we appreciate everyone cooperating out in the stands. It's been a soggy one really right from the get-go. The rain had let up a bit towards the end of the half, but coming down yet again. As the Scarlet Hawks will look to attack from left to right here in the second half. And a miss here for Caitlin Kernan. Now Hopedale on the attack, some pushing and shoving there along the sideline for Hopedale that draws the whistle. That was too much contact from Phoenicia outfield.
Oh, I already came to it. Your daughter already talked. Oh, yeah, she already talked.
Milford now trying to feed up ahead on the near side. Their possession will flip here. Series of corner kick chances throughout the first half for Milford, along with some other quality looks on net, trying to find a way to get one past Callie Costanza. As Hopedale sends this ball forward, and it ends up as a nice easy hop for Chloe Murdoch. Did not face as much adversity in her net in the first half. Had one dicey play where she got caught out of position, and very fortunately for Milford, the shot ended up going wide to a unoccupied net. And that was the best chance that Hopedale had to get on the scoreboard in the first half. Toss-in coming up here for Milford to be taken by Caitlin Landry. In the direction of Kyla Nashawati. Trying to move this one along the near sideline. Good work defensively for Chloe Westfield. Possession still with Milford. The toss, Nashawati will give way once again to Landry. Can't keep that ball in along the near sideline right in front of the Milford bench. Caitlin Kernan sending that ball in. It's a hard ricochet. Kernan now delivers this one out towards the middle of the field. Almost going the other way, but Alexa Landry plays it back in deep. Now Hopedale again with possession. Kernan goes down hard. Looks to maybe even hit her head on the turf, but gets right back up and right back into the play. Good coverage defensively again for Alexa Landry. She's looked good in this game. Once again, the rain coming down fairly heavily. Hesitation here from Calden as she takes this ball up herself, gets around a defender, has some space now as she closes in, tries to center it up. Baglione there, and the ball goes wide. And it looks like Coach Colabello, who does not often get involved in conversations with the officials, in disbelief that there was a missed call there. all of that came together quickly. Still in the opening 10 minutes of the second half, more hard contact. Santos absorbing that contact, getting right back involved in the play as now Alexa Landry will take the free kick. Both of these teams looking for their first victory of this 2023 fall season. Landry now drives this ball in good position for Nashawati, but her header drifts out past the far post. And meanwhile, a quick pause here in the action as we get an additional layer out there for Chloe Murdoch in net. I'm not sure if perhaps there was an argument being made that Murdoch's jersey color was too close to the rest of her teammates. And so getting the black now delivered out there by assistant coach Casey Young. Coach Roger now upset. So both head coaches have had some harsh words for the officiating in this last 3 or 4 minute stretch. And while we talk about the coaching staffs, it is worth pointing out that Hopedale may have a little additional insight on this Milford roster on their coaching staff, as Carolyn Chaplin, who of course has been a longtime member of several of these Milford coaching staffs, including this girls soccer program a year ago, now serving as an assistant coach to Jay Roger on the Hopedale side. For trying to keep this ball alive on their side, but Hopedale now in motion. This ball is going to come loose all the way back to Murdoch. Waits for it to roll to a stop. Just under 32 minutes on the second half game clock as Milford advances again. This ball onside, Baglione all alone, and Costanza comes out from the net, cuts down the angle, and Baglione can't get a shot off. That ball went through beautifully. Baglione able to accelerate past the defense, had a wide open look, but credit to Callie Costanza coming out fearlessly. And we are still scoreless. Dale tracking this ball back. They let it go over the goal line and have a chance to send this ball back out. So Milford has not relented, continuing to create opportunities, hoping that eventually one of these will find its way through. But again, credit to Callie Costanza, who has played outstanding so far in this match. This ball out to the far side. Credit also to the fans here at the Milford turf, who have hung in through various stages of rainfall. It's still coming down fairly steadily. warm and humid temperatures despite the rainfall, so it's at least not one of those cold-soaked rains that you get later on in the fall, as Milford gets another corner kick chance that comes down from the crossbar. It does not go across the goal line, and it's eventually jammed through after a couple of opportunities for Milford, and the Scarlet Hawks are finally able to cash in. They take a 1-0 lead. So that was indeed, through traffic, the freshman Kyla Nashawati who was able to put it home to finally give Milford a lead. It is now 1-0 with still 28 minutes and 37 seconds to go in this second half. Amazing that that initial shot did not go in. It came straight down off the crossbar but did not cross the goal line. Hopedale feverishly trying to clear it out, but Milford kept hacking away right there at point blank range, and it was Nashawati who was finally able to get it past Costanza. And that was what it took to finally get one past the Hopedale senior keeper. So there is your first goal of the season for the Scarlet Hawks, and there is your first goal in the varsity soccer career of Kyla Nashawati. And with these kind of field conditions, a 1-0 lead feels large. We'll also see what it does to the confidence level of this team, who has played aggressively all day long, Milford has. But finally seeing one find the back of the net, what will that do to this team's level? Meanwhile, on the Hopedale side, you can see some changes on the way. 4 players lined up ready to come in at the next whistle. Good tough play once again by Caitlin Kernan. Now this ball quickly centered up, but Murdoch able to make a stop, as it looked like Hopedale had Kaylee Good right there on the doorstep. Good ball put ahead here for Milford, and that play is going to be offsides by a hair. Looked like Milford had a potential breakaway, but not so fast. Nashawati just had a step on the defense. And now this ball up over Milford's head. This will send it deep on the Hopedale attacking side. Milford taking no chances, guiding that ball out of play. That was Pellegrini making the veteran play. And now up ahead for Baglione. Beautiful pass. Fed up the near sideline, and down to the turf goes Paige Calden. And so a free kick chance here deep for the Scarlet Hawks, looking to tack on to the lead. It is Nashawati. This ball away, bending it towards the corner, and that is just over the net. Trying to place that one where Costanza couldn't reach, and it goes just high, but fantastic ball skills there demonstrated by Nashawati. 25:04 on the second half clock, still a 1-0 Milford lead. Quick toss in here for Hopedale. The Blue Raiders haven't been able to counter yet. Milford continuing to dominate possession, but here now they're able to win this ball. Mickelson gets it right back. And now driven out of play after Olivia Baglione sent that pass in towards the middle. Now hard contact from Kay Pellegrini. Into the box, and that ball deflects away. Looks like they'll rule it a goal kick. This ball taking a hop past both teams, and now shot up the near sideline. Played ahead by Kira Brault. The whistle eventually comes, and it goes against the Hawks. Still getting organized here as the clock ticks down towards 23 minutes to play.
Once she touches it, go get her.
And so right now a trio of players surrounds the ball, leaving open a shot and a score for Annalise Pinto. And so an unusual setup there for the free kick, but it worked out beautifully as it left Pinto wide open for a shot from distance, put it on the money, and Murdoch could not make the stop. And so less than 10 minutes later, Hopedale has the answer. Annalise Pinto able to level this match at 1. So everything had been going Milford's way, but committing a foul at a vulnerable point on the field, and Hopedale had just the right play drawn up for that situation. They execute, and we are tied once again. So both teams now scoring their first goals of the season. Pinned down in the corner, now sending this ball towards Baglione. It's going to deflect, and it's going to roll its way in, and an immediate response for the Scarlet Hawks on a broken play. And that might be the slick conditions playing a factor as that ball found its way to Ava Baglione, who was able to put just enough on it to sneak it past Costanza, and Milford immediately able to retake the lead. It's 2-1. So after a scoreless first half, we've seen 3 goals combined over the first 20 minutes of the second half. For Milford, it's been Kyla Nashawati and now Ava Baglione. Again, leading by a goal. And 5 subs coming in now for Hopedale on the whistle. Milford will get a substitution in as well. Grace Beagle will check into the game, giving Talia Seri a break. Everyone absolutely soaked on the sidelines, but good energy on the Milford bench as Milford surrendered the lead and then immediately was able to take it back. Now here's Nashawati again, briefly loses control of the ball, has to gather back in. Now pushes towards the middle. And This ball now driven in by Caitlin Kernan. It's going to take a bounce right in the direction of Ava Baglione, and out of play it goes. And again, the rain coming down very heavily. Just about as hard as it has come down at any point during this match. Now able to get the clear. Baglione jumps in. The ball left behind, and now will travel deep up the near sidelines. And Kernan able to get the deflection off of Hopedale and out of play. Just after 7 o'clock in the evening now. Trying to sneak a peek at the radar to see if we can expect any kind of lightning of this rainfall. Hopedale pushes this ball towards the middle. Milford closes in, and Alexa Landry with an outstanding play to move that ball out of immediate danger. And now Calden up ahead, sneaks past one defender. Now here's Nashawati trying to track down towards the far side. That ball will go out of play, but will stay Milford ball with 17:55 now on the clock. Out of play now for a goal kick. This is the first of a pair of varsity girls soccer matches that we have covered for you on Milford TV this week. We will be back in action on Friday in the afternoon as the girls will play host to Hockomock League rival the Sharon Eagles. That game getting underway, I believe, around 4 p.m. And so that is when we will have the live coverage on Friday. So getting a chance to see this team in action against back-to-back opponents. Here's Olivia Baglione now with a little bit of space, sends this ball in low. It ticks off the hand of Costanza, but wide of the net. And another corner kick will materialize here for Milford. Talia Seri back out onto the field. We'll see if she takes it. Instead, right now, Ava Baglione tracking that ball over towards the corner. The Milford football team playing on the road in week 1 notched a big victory over Bridgewater Raynham, scoring 40 points in that victory. As this corner kick comes out to the edge of the box, Olivia Baglione sends it in. Turtelot tracking, this ball cleared out by Hopedale. Kernan the first to get there, but Hopedale, the only player in the vicinity able to get it forward. Hard work for Venetia outfield. Now back to the middle of the field, played ahead by Olivia Baglione. Up the sideline, out of the reach of Ava. She'll get another chance here perhaps. She races to the corner, it deflects back out. Milford trying to blast that one in on net, but it's blocked on the way in by the Hopedale defense and now cleared out. Kernan now will push in on one big bounce towards net. Just over 15 minutes remain in this second half. Milford hanging on to a 2-1 lead, and contact in midair between Kernan and Oldfield, excuse me. Kernan has taken a beating in this game and at no point has shown the slightest bit of slowing down. Good toughness for the sophomore. Moment here to catch her breath before taking the free kick. This will take us down to 14.5 minutes. And so meanwhile, as we were focused upfield on Kernan, I believe cards were issued down the other end of the field. So we do see Oldfield come off, so the yellow card issued to Venetia Oldfield after the contact on Kernan. And so this ball sent in, Baglione tracks it. Milford trying to get an angle. Dumped back in, and again, hard contact. You could hear that all the way up here in the box. A hard shoulder, as now Olivia Baglione again takes contact behind the play, goes down as this ball is out on the corner. Milford will toss. Hopedale gets the partial clear. Again, in flies Kernan. But Milford couldn't settle it down. Now Hopedale trying to move ahead with speed. Alexa Landry trying to slow things up the far sideline. Turtelot now takes over. She gets knocked down. No whistle this time as Milford will clear it up the far sideline. Nashawati, clean pass up ahead to Ava Baglione. Gets away from one defender, gets dragged down from behind. Baglione right back to her feet, wanted to restart this play in a hurry, but now takes a beat. Inside 12.5 minutes to go in this second half. Milford trying to tack on to a 2-1 lead. This ball sent up high off of Baglione and out of play. Still 2-1 the score. Just getting going with this fall sports season. Coming into play today, nobody had played more than 2 games with the exception of Attleboro. It's gotten off to an 0-2 start. Franklin right now and King Philip technically in a tie for the lead in the Kelly Rec standings. Both teams starting out 1-0. As Kernan catches up to this ball, it stays in play. She's able to send it on all the way towards Ava Baglione, and now a hard ricochet. A little bit of a communication gap there with Santos, and now Hopedale trying to counter. Olivia Baglione up the far sideline. Driven back towards the middle. Nashawati is there, able to control. Trying to fight through contact. And now again gets dragged down, but this time no whistle. Up ahead now for an easy play for Chloe Murdoch. Rapidly approaching the final 10 minutes. Up ahead out of the reach of Nashawati. Hopedale will send it out along the far sideline. Trying to take control along that far sideline. inside the final 10 minutes. As it looks like we'll have another timeout taken on the field, and that will give us an opportunity to take another look at our September broadcast schedule. A lot coming up in the next few weeks, as we mentioned. This game, the first of back-to-back varsity girls soccer games, will feature this week. We'll be back here on the turf on Friday, hoping for some better weather, as the girls will take on the Sharon Eagles. And then next week we will get our first look at the girls varsity volleyball team as they host North Attleboro. That's on Monday, September 18th. And then closing out next week, we will get our long-awaited first look at the Scarlet Hawks football team as they host the Natick Red Hawks in a 7 p.m. game here under the lights on this turf field. That should be a fantastic matchup. Milford hoping to come home for their first game of the season here on their home turf 2-0. And then closing out the month of September, we'll have more girls soccer action against King Philip on the 26th. And then, if all goes according to plan, we'll have some football road coverage for you to close out the month of September on Thursday the 28th down in Attleboro. So that is a look at what we have planned through this month. Of course, all of those games are subject to change due to weather or other complications. We hope to get those all in for you. We've been lucky to get this one in. We were able to sneak our gear up since came on the way out. But these teams have certainly battled through some very difficult conditions out on the playing surface and have played a very good game despite the challenging field conditions. Back to live action now with less than 9.5 minutes on the clock. Big bounce up ahead here. Baglione and Nashawati both racing in. It's Nashawati, has it taken away. She'll try to gather back in. Defense stays close. Kyla now tracking in towards the middle. Able to feed Baglione. And right-footed, she's able to get that ball in, but it looks like no goal. No goal, as that play, I believe, was offsides. And Coach Colabello again voicing his displeasure with the call. Nashawati, against some tight defensive coverage there, was able to feed a ball up for a good-looking attempt for Ava Baglione to try to give Milford the multi-goal lead, but that goal waved off on the offsides call. Mickelson up the far sideline. Nashawati has a defender fall down, sends a line drive kick on goal, but it's knocked down and handled by Hopedale. Inside of 8 minutes to play now. Defensive players nearly getting tangled up there as Alexa Landry and Caitlin Kernan both went after that ball. It ends up going out of play on the far sideline. Toss in by Antonia Rollo for Hopedale. Another defender loses footing, as again, no doubt, conditions continuing to deteriorate the longer this rain comes down. Milford guiding this ball into Murdoch. Inside of 7 minutes now. Milford looking to stay focused out there and play to this final whistle and earn their first victory of the season. Hopedale keeps this ball in on the attacking side. Now here's Taliaseri. Gets free. Santos now across the middle line. Finds Calden right in front of the Milford bench. And Calden can't keep that ball in. It just did drift wide. Hopedale now to toss in. The Hopedale fans in attendance want to see a little bit more of a sense of urgency. Milford not wanting to allow any lopsided chances here as Kernan can't slow this ball down. Kernan still down here. And so after we've seen Kernan bounce off of some heavy contact throughout this game, she immediately called for the training staff after going down, and now looks to be in a good deal of pain as right now athletic trainer Ashley Desko works on trying to stretch out the right leg. And so right now an injury timeout taken on the field. We will pause for the timeout. 5 minutes and 50 seconds remain in this second half. A 2-1 lead for Milford on top of Hopedale here on Milford TV.
Bringing her a little water. Oh, cramp, exactly. Yeah, that's just. We've been running all night.
Good job, Kate.
So Kernan able to make her way to the sideline under her own power, so that's always what you like to see. So it looks like maybe a cramp on that right calf. And so now trying to roll it out. Looks like she may be good to return to this game if need be. About 5.5 minutes to go. Milford holding on to a 2-1 lead. This ball comes in on a line picked up by Costanza. Siri now dumps this ball in deep. Baglione lying in wait. Now Calden stepping in. Able to guide this ball into the corner. Now tries to center that up, but it drifts out behind the goal. The game clock now frozen. Less than 5 minutes remain. Goal kick for the Blue Raiders. A short one ends up being played on by Kaylee Good and driven right back in by the Hawks. Ashawati again finds Calden. She has a little bit of space. Defense now collapses in, and the ball ends up out of play. Hopedale tosses back in. Now we'll reset and do it over again. Baglione there, aggressive. Wins this ball. Now tries to stay with it. But a good play by Chloe Westfield to win it for Hopedale. Now Baglione circles. whistle going against Baglione. The Milford fans hate it. Meanwhile, Caitlin Kernan has now positioned herself at the center line, waiting to check back into this game. Caitlin Landry able to steal that ball. Maya Santos there as well. The ball ends up out on the near sideline. Tossin coming here for Hopedale. And another whistle going against Milford here, so a free kick in a dangerously close spot on the field to where Hopedale was able to capitalize for their first goal of this game. We don't see the same play as we saw last time, with the three players shielding the ball. Instead, right now, Annalise Pinto stands alone. It was Pinto who scored the goal off the free kick earlier in this half, now sends it in. Murdoch watches that ball take a roll out of play. So Sari will take the goal kick. Maybe about 3 minutes to go as we wait for the final whistle down below. Ball does not quite get to Calden, but now Kernan, who's back out on the field, sends it ahead for Baglione. She turns upfield. Ball knocked out of play, and Baglione very quickly gets the ball back in. And now out of play with Calden in the area. Sari tosses in, but that ball deflects off of Calden and out, and now Hopedale will take over. So that ball slipped out of the hands, but another chance here. Milford looking to avoid any mistakes in these closing moments. Landry back in. Mickelson ahead. Baglione. And it's taken away by the defense. Another chance here for Mickelson. And on a hop, Costanza makes the save. Here's Sari now, couldn't quite get the angle, and now this ball is going to pop forward. Kernan now goes right back in to do the dirty work. Hopedale pushes that ball ahead, it goes out. The Hopedale fans saying that went out off of Milford. Murdoch initially thinking that would be a goal kick, but they will award Hopedale the corner. This will come in from the near side. And now they change the call. It will be a goal kick.
Come on, Red, go get it.
Short kick for Sari. And there is the final whistle. So Milford able to hold on here to the finish line. And the Scarlet Hawks will earn their first victory of the season. They earn their third straight head-to-head victory against this Hopedale Blue Raiders team as they win tonight by a final score of 2-1 on the back of goals from their two strikers. It was Kyle Anashawati who gave Milford a 1-0 lead a little over 10 minutes into the second half, and then after Hopedale's Annalise Pinto was able to level the score off a free kick chance, Milford immediately responded less than a minute later with Ava Baglione finishing a chance at point-blank range to give Milford a 2-1 lead, and the Scarlet Hawks would hold on to that score. And so they win this one again by a final score of 2-1. So with the victory, Milford improves to 1-1 now on the season. With the loss, Hopedale falls to 0-2. And so we will be right back here on the turf field coming up on Friday to catch this girls team in action, this time against the Sharon Eagles. An afternoon start time between Milford and Sharon. That is when we'll have you covered next. In the meantime, that's going to wrap things up on the coverage here tonight. I am Tim Coette. That final score, one final time, Milford defeats the Hopedale Blue Raiders by a final score of 2-1. This has been a presentation of Milford High School Athletics here on Milford TV. So long, everybody.